Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm back. Again, if you watched my other video, it wasn't Spanish, but I was saying that I'm on my son's tablet because my cell phone can't take videos longer than about 5 minutes. I'm not sure why. So that's why this is not like a good quality video, um, or anything like that. So that's the reason. Excuse, the screen and the blurriness, and hopefully you can hear me. So I was super happy that the last video that I posted of my Spanish, a lot of people were like, oh wow, like I'm impressed, good job, because to study constantly for a whole year and go to another country, and this is like my life goal is to be fluent in Spanish. Like, if and when, you know what I'm saying, I achieve that level that I want to be at, that'll be like my biggest life accomplishment I think that I've ever done, that I'll ever have. I don't know if I'll ever have a bigger life accomplishment than, becoming fluent in Spanish. And it's weird because um like I really do speak Spanish. Like that's so weird to me. That's so weird. Like I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it at all. Um so, sometimes, okay, you know what? Sometimes my confidence goes up, when I realize, I do speak Spanish. I don't speak like the level that I want to speak. Like, if you watch my other video and you understand Spanish, you'll see I was saying in my last video that I want, my goal is to achieve a level to where it's like native level, to where like nobody would ever know that it's not my first language. Like, when I speak Spanish, I don't want no one to question or think that I'm foreign. And then obviously when I speak English, you can see that I'm totally fluent in English. And so yeah, I want to be totally like bilingual. No one is gonna question me, my English or my Spanish, or think anything. It's gonna be totally normal, natural. I can express myself in any way, details, know a huge vocabulary like in English, like totally, like not even second guessing what I'm saying. Like, my expectations for my Spanish are high. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, I guess Um, it's weird to be like, wow, I really speak Spanish, because my expectations are so high. And what different people think fluency is so different from one person to the next. um and and yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to, kind of do update, because I do want to like keep going with this channel for a long time, for eventually you're gonna be able to see the first video and the first clips and everything that I did with my Spanish. And then, you can look at the videos a year or two later and be like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, for my own self and for other people to know that they can do it, you know. um you know I'm just rambling. I just, want y'all to know where I'm at with my process. And, I'm obviously, you can see from my other video, I'm not like super, super good at Spanish, but I do understand pretty much everything. And I can pretty much say something back to anything that's said. You know what I'm saying? And, this is coming from somebody who, I am not a studious person. I fucking hate school. I don't like it. I have no desire to go to college my whole entire life. I barely passed high school. You know what I'm saying? I hate that type of learning, to where you have to memorize stuff and, and everything else. And I'm just not a studious person. It's not that I'm not smart. I'm smart in other ways, but I'm not a studious person. You get what I'm saying? Um, and so for me, that's why, like I said, I'm shocked. Like, I could really speak Spanish. Like, when people talk to me in Spanish, I understand it so easily that sometimes I don't know if I'm being spoken to in English or Spanish. So it's weird. It's weird. It's like, I can't even explain to you guys. I can't even explain. It's like something switched in my brain. You know what I'm saying? Like literally to think in Spanish. Like it's crazy to me because like I said, I'm not a studious person. You know what I'm saying? I never thought my ability to learn was sufficient. You get what I'm saying? But it's different when you have a passion and a reason behind why you're learning. For me, I'm learning because, I am Puerto Rican. I never, got a chance to learn, Spanish when I was a kid, because I wasn't around, you know, um, people who were speaking Spanish because I was raised by actually my grandparents who were Italian. I never got to be around, the Puerto Rican side of my family when I was a kid. Never, my dad, he passed on when I was a kid, so he would be the one that would have been able to speak to me in Spanish. You know, Not to mention, it's like I, you know, in Chicago and it's like when I lived in Chicago, it's like I'm always going to like Latin clubs. It's like I love everything like Latino because yes, I am a Latina, but when I go to clubs and stuff like that, I can't even talk to people, you know. And it's like I am Latina, when people are like, okay, but not really, you're a fake Latina, because you can't speak Spanish, whatever. And it's isolating. I love everything Latino, so I'm going to these festivals, I'm going to these salsa clubs, I'm doing everything, and I really can't form connections with anybody, you know what I'm saying, in the way that I want to. So it's kind of like, for me, it's a passionate reason because I want to come into my own and feel like, I'm getting to know, my roots and, and everything like that. So for me, it's been like a serious, like motive, behind it. Like if you're somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to Mexico next week, like I'm going to brush up on some vocabulary. Nah, I'm not on that. I'm not on that level. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with, just doing survival Spanish because you want to go, to Mexico for fucking a week, Cancun, I don't know, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying the level of dedication that you're going to put into it is going to be much higher if you have a passionate reason behind it. The bigger and the more close to your heart, the reason, obviously, the more serious you're going to take it. And because, like I said, I'm not a studious person, I'm shocked that my brain has absorbed this. And like I said, when I say stuff, sometimes I don't even translate or think about it in my head. This just happened within the past couple weeks. And when people say things to me in Spanish, I don't even think about it, translate it, or get caught up, get tripped up or nothing. It's like I said, I can't realize if it's English or Spanish because it's coming at me in the same way. I'm not even, not thinking hard about it at all. So, I'm just super happy. Like I'm super happy. Like I'm not like, believe me, I'm not acting like I'm an expert or whatever. If you guys saw my last video, you can see, I'm struggling, I'm making basic errors and stuff like that. But I'm just okay. I mean, I have no shame in my game. I'm proud of myself and I'm happy. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's a new development that the whole time that I've been struggling and everything like that. And then, like the guy that I'm talking to, right now, I met him online and I was like, yeah, pardon my Spanish. I'm like, just be patient with me, whatever. So, we met up and we were talking for like 2, 3 hours, just conversating. And he was like, and then I brought up a couple times, oh, I'm going to my class. And he was like, wow, you really dedicated. He was like, because you already speak Spanish. So I'm kind of like, what? I'm confused. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I do, but obviously I'm trying to, not make errors and learn all types of advanced, grammar and whatnot. But no, so other people, the way that I can have a conversation in Spanish for 2 to 3 hours about anything, and then, they're just kind of like, you speak Spanish. And then I haven't absorbed it yet to be able to own that and be like, yes, I can, because it's a confidence thing. It's just, it's weird. It's weird. And then like I'll be talking to taxi drivers, Uber drivers and everything like that. And they're like, oh yeah, like, we're just having a conversation. They're like, oh yeah, so why'd you come to Medellin? I'm like, oh, I'm on my way to class right now. I'm like, cause I came here to learn Spanish and whatever. And they're like, already? They're like, you speak Spanish? They're like, what? So it's like, So I'm still used to, explaining myself and my reasons, like in, like how I did when I first arrived, being hard to explain myself, um, you know, being the newbie, you know what I'm saying, who's still learning or whatever, and then something switched and my level has like increased, and now when people ask me my reason, or I talk about that, oh, my Spanish is bad, just like, I'm sorry, people just like, what? I didn't even know. Like, you telling on yourself. Like, if you didn't say nothing, it's like I wouldn't have questioned, your abilities to understand or speak. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's crazy. It's something that I gotta realize. Like, okay, okay, sorry about that, y'all. The video got cut off for a minute, but no, like I said, it's something that that I gotta realize and just be like, boom. I speak Spanish. Like, I remember even when I got back from, what I'm saying, Medellin the first time or whatever, when I came for a week in October, um, when I came back to Miami, because, everybody speaks Spanish in Miami. And then my Spanish really wasn't that good then. I mean, whatever. But the thing is like, you gotta own it, and it's a confidence thing. You know what I'm saying? When I got back from, like, it's like, if you're learning Spanish and you can hold your own, if somebody asks you, do you speak Spanish? Be like, sí, hablo español. Don't be like, oh, un poquito, más o menos. No, be like, sí. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I came back from, what do you say, Medellin the first time, and I came back to Miami, because, it's all Cubans and Colombians and shit like that. My taxi driver or my Uber driver called me because he was trying to see what terminal I was at, and he just was like, blah, 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 blah. He came right out, and he was Cuban. He came right out the gate speaking Spanish. He just assumed, because, like, it's like a little Cuba, over there. Like, you don't have to, like, ask people. Like, you're gonna just know that almost everyone can speak Spanish to you. So he just was speaking Spanish to me, and I kind of, like, was hard to understand, but I could answer his question. And then when he pulled up, he was like, "Hablas español?" And I'm like, "Sí, hablo español." Normally I would be like, oh, estoy aprendiendo un poquito. No, I was like, see. And then the whole time he was like, okay, bet. And so, we were chopping it up, having a conversation, in the taxi for like 20, 30 minutes. And like, it was real rough, especially thinking back on it now. But like, but did he understand me though? Yes. And did I understand him? Yes. And that was just, from 5 or 6 months of studying and 1 week in Colombia. So it was real, real rough, in October compared to now, even. But once you own it, it boosts your confidence level, and you're saying it out loud that yes, you speak Spanish, and then other people also, aren't afraid to talk to you either, you know. And I think somebody else said this, in a video, which was true. I don't know if it was Ambi or somebody, I think it might have been Ambi. Say if you're, out and about, you're at a store and somebody asks you for directions or something, and maybe they're Indian and maybe they have like an Indian accent and it's hard to understand them, or maybe something, somebody has a Mexican accent, you can tell that it's hard for them to, ask. If you ever hear somebody talk with like an accent from India, Mexico, Philippines, it doesn't matter. Do you ever be like, wow, how stupid is this person? No. Like, if somebody asks me a question, I don't even think about it. I can tell by the way that they sound that English is not their first language, but do I understand them? Yes. And am I judging their grammar, or thinking that deep about what they're saying? No. Do I ever think, wow, this person's an idiot? No. So when you go to speak Spanish, nobody's thinking, wow, this idiot. No, it's the most important thing is that, are you understood? Do they understand you? And do you understand them? Nobody's sitting there picking apart your grammar and your English or whatever. So just own it. Be like, yeah, I speak Spanish, and then just go on and try your luck and just practice, with people or whatever. I really do not think that there's one person out there when you're trying to speak Spanish with somebody. I don't think there's one person out there that's like, wow, how dumb is this person? How bad is their Spanish? Nobody's thinking that. You're trying. Some people don't even speak more than one language. You're trying to speak another language. It's not your first language. You know, so yeah, that's just a little tip about the fear of, you know what I'm saying, speaking and everything else. So, I noticed videos all over the place. Basically, the whole point of the video was to, uh, you know, this is where I'm at. There was a long lapse in my videos. Um, and I wanted to talk, I got a lot more to talk about too, but I ended up just ranting. So it's fine. This is just my video to tell you that, I've, felt more comfortable in the language. Something clicked in my brain. I'm super happy with the progress. I'm trying to get my visa so that we can stay longer. I'm still going to take 2 to 3 classes a week, and I plan to do it the whole time I'm here. I plan to, keep making Colombian friends. I don't use English at all when I'm here, only in these videos or when I talk to, like, say, some of my friends on the phone. I don't use English. I only speak in Spanish constantly. So, that definitely helps. But, shit, what else? I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to make another video in Spanish. Um, and then another topic also um, in English, because I wanted to do some tips today, but I didn't have time. I was just updating you on my story. So let me get out of here before this cuts off. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share my video. Okay, ciao.